Let me start with this truth. The most powerful discovery you will ever make is the discovery of why you. Not the version of you that the world has shaped, not the one that life's hardships have molded, but the version of you God created before you ever took your first breath. Every single morning you wake up is an invitation to meet yourself again. Not yesterday's you, not tomorrow's you, the person you are called to be today. Self-discovery is not a single moment of clarity that happens once in a lifetime, but a process that unfolds day by day as you choose to look deeper within yourself. Each day brings with it new challenges, opportunities, and moments that reveal more about who you are and who you are becoming. The version of you that existed yesterday is not the same as the one that stands today, because life has a way of shaping, stretching, and teaching us through every experience we encounter. Choosing self, discovery daily, means intentionally seeking to understand your values, your beliefs, your strengths, and your weaknesses. It means taking time to reflect on your actions, your thoughts, and your emotions, and allowing that reflection to guide you toward growth rather than simply going through life on autopilot. There is a temptation to believe that knowing yourself fully can be achieved quickly, or that one breakthrough moment is all it takes. But the reality is that self-awareness deepens over time through consistent attention and reflection. Every day offers you a chance to pause and examine how you show up in the world. This is not just about identifying flaws or celebrating strengths, but about understanding why you do what you do, what motivates you, and what fears you are still holding on to. Each morning you wake up, you are given another opportunity to ask yourself who you want to become today, and that question, if taken seriously, will lead you on a journey that transforms not only your mindset, but your entire life. Self-discovery requires intentional choices because life has a way of pulling you in multiple directions at once. Responsibilities, relationships, and distractions can often cloud your vision of who you truly are. That is why daily reflection is not a luxury, but a necessity. It is the practice of slowing down enough to ask yourself whether the life you are living is aligned with the life you are meant to live. This daily habit of reconnecting with yourself creates clarity in a world that thrives on noise and confusion. Without this choice, it is easy to lose yourself in routines, expectations, and obligations that do not reflect your true identity. Every day that passes gives you a new chance to shed old layers of who you thought you were. Sometimes we cling to past versions of ourselves because they feel safe, but growth requires courage. It takes courage to ask hard questions about your purpose, your calling, and your desires. The act of finding yourself is not about becoming someone new, but about uncovering the person you were designed to be all along. Like peeling back layers of an onion, every choice to seek self-discovery brings you closer to your authentic self, the part of you that has been buried beneath fear, doubt, and societal expectations. The journey of self-discovery is also deeply tied to self-acceptance. As you look inward each day, you will encounter parts of yourself you admire and parts you may not be proud of. Choosing self-discovery daily means choosing honesty over avoidance. It means facing those parts of yourself without judgment, but with a willingness to grow. This kind of radical honesty is uncomfortable, but it is the discomfort that leads to transformation. When you embrace all aspects of yourself, you create a foundation for genuine change because you are no longer pretending to be someone you are not. A daily commitment to discovering yourself also empowers you to take ownership of your decisions. Instead of blaming circumstances or people for the direction of your life, you begin to realize that your choices hold incredible power. Each decision you make, no matter how small, is either pulling you closer to your true self or pushing you further away. This awareness gives you the strength to live with intention instead of drifting through life passively. By consistently examining your actions and motivations, you gain control over your growth rather than leaving it to chance. As you engage in this daily process, you will notice patterns in your life that reveal what truly matters to you. The more you choose to examine yourself, the clearer your values become, and with that clarity comes confidence. You stop second-guessing yourself because you are no longer making decisions based on fear or other people's opinions. Instead, you are operating from a deep understanding of who you are and what you stand for. This kind of clarity does not come overnight, but it builds steadily as you choose self-discovery again and again, even on the days when it feels easier to avoid it daily. Self-discovery is also about growth in character. It is not just about identifying strengths, but about intentionally cultivating them, and not just about acknowledging weaknesses, but actively working to overcome them. Each day is a new opportunity to strengthen your integrity, develop your resilience, and sharpen your focus. This requires humility because it means admitting there is always more to learn about yourself and more ways to grow. The moment you think you know yourself fully is the moment you stop growing. But when you embrace the idea that there is always more to uncover, you open the door to endless development. The commitment to finding yourself every day is also a commitment to self-discipline. It takes discipline to slow down and reflect when the world around you is constantly pushing for speed and distraction. It takes discipline to say no to the noise and yes to the quiet moments of self-reflection that reveal your truth. This daily discipline creates a ripple effect in your life because the more intentional you are about discovering yourself, the more intentional you become in every area, your relationships, your work, your goals, and your spiritual growth. This is the kind of work that builds a solid foundation for lasting success and fulfillment because it is not rooted in superficiality, but in authenticity, self-discovery is a journey without a finish line, and choosing it daily is what keeps you growing, evolving, and aligning with the person you are meant to be. Every new day offers you a blank page to write a story that reflects your truth. The process will not always be easy, but it will always be worth it because the more you choose to know yourself, the more you unlock your potential and the more equipped you become to live a life of meaning and impact. Challenges are often seen as obstacles designed to slow you down or stop you from reaching your goals. But in reality, they are opportunities that reveal the strength you didn't know you had. When life places you in difficult situations, it isn't always to punish you or to discourage you, but to show you the depth of your resilience. Strength is not developed in moments of comfort. It is unearthed in seasons of struggle. You don't truly know what you are capable of until you are forced to rise above something that feels impossible. It is in those moments of pressure and hardship that your hidden abilities come to the surface, teaching you that what you once thought was beyond your capacity is actually within your reach. Every challenge you face has a way of stripping away your illusions and exposing what is real. When you are tested, you begin to see your priorities, your mindset, and your determination with clarity. These moments act as a mirror, reflecting not only your fears, but also your courage. It is easy to think you are strong when everything is going well, but strength is not proven in ease. It is forged in fire. Just as gold must pass through intense heat to be purified, your character and perseverance are refined when life places you under pressure. This process is not meant to destroy you, but to remove what doesn't belong so that your true strength can emerge. Challenges also stretch your capacity. What you considered your limit last year is not your limit today, because every time you overcome a challenge, your boundaries expand. You become stronger mentally, emotionally, and spiritually because you have walked through circumstances that once intimidated you. Each trial equips you with tools, lessons, and wisdom that can only be learned through experience. There are certain strengths you will never uncover until life demands them from you. This is why those who consistently face challenges often grow into the most resilient and wise individuals, because they have been tested and have proven to themselves what they are made of. When you encounter resistance, it reveals areas where you still need growth and development. Challenges expose weaknesses, not to shame you, but to strengthen you. They bring to light the parts of yourself you may have ignored or underestimated, giving you the chance to confront and overcome them. This process creates depth of character, because true strength is not just about pushing forward, but about recognizing your vulnerabilities and working through them. Without challenges, there would be no reason to grow stronger, and without resistance, there would be no need to develop perseverance. The very obstacles that frustrate you are the ones shaping you into someone who is prepared for greater responsibilities and opportunities. Difficult seasons also teach you how to trust yourself. When you successfully navigate hardships, you begin to realize that you are far more capable than you once believed. You stop doubting your ability to handle adversity, because your past victories become proof of your resilience. Each time you overcome something that seemed impossible, it becomes evidence that you can handle future challenges with confidence. This confidence is not arrogance. It is a deep trust in the strength you have built through trials. Life's difficulties may shake you, but they also strengthen your foundation, making you more grounded and unshakable. With every battle you face, challenges not only reveal your personal strength, but also deepen your faith and dependence on something greater than yourself. In moments of uncertainty and pain, you are reminded of the limits of your own understanding, which opens the door to spiritual growth. When you are pushed beyond your comfort zone, you discover a level of strength that comes from leaning on principles, faith, and purpose rather than just sheer willpower. This spiritual growth adds a dimension of resilience that cannot be easily broken, because it is rooted in something beyond temporary circumstances. Strength built in this way becomes a steady anchor that keeps you firm in the face of storms. Struggles also have a way of shaping your perspective. When you face hard times, you begin to see the world and yourself differently. Challenges reveal how much you have grown, because situations that once overwhelmed you no longer carry the same weight. You start to see difficulties as opportunities for growth rather than threats to your progress. This shift in perspective is part of what makes you stronger, because strength is not only about physical or mental endurance. It is also about having the wisdom to view adversity as a teacher rather than an enemy. With this mindset, every hardship becomes a stepping stone instead of a stumbling block. There is also a unique strength that comes from perseverance. When you are forced to endure long seasons of difficulty, you develop an ability to remain steadfast even when there is no immediate relief. This kind of strength is not flashy or loud. It is quiet, steady, and powerful. It is the strength that allows you to keep moving forward even when others would give up. Challenges have a way of building this type of endurance. And over time, you become a person who is not easily shaken by setbacks. You learn that resilience is not about avoiding pain, but about walking through it with courage and refusing to be defeated by it. Each challenge you face also has the power to unlock creativity and resourcefulness. When life puts you in a corner, you are forced to think differently, to find solutions you never would have considered if everything had gone smoothly. This is another way that challenges reveal strength. They awaken your ability to innovate and adapt, the strength to pivot, adjust, and find a way forward when things don't go as planned is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Every difficult situation pushes you to grow not only in resilience, but in wisdom, flexibility, and problem-solving skills that prepare you for greater opportunities in the future. Ultimately, challenges act as a training ground for your character, your mindset, and your determination. They push you to levels you wouldn't reach on your own. And while they may feel uncomfortable, they are shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable than you imagine. The version of you that emerges from struggle is not the same as the one who entered it, because challenges refine, elevate, and prepare you for a future you may not yet see, but are being equipped to handle through every test and trial you face. Intentional living is the practice of making conscious choices about every aspect of your life, instead of simply reacting to whatever comes your way. It is a commitment to living with purpose rather than drifting through life on autopilot, allowing external circumstances to dictate your actions and outcomes. Transformation doesn't happen by accident. It is a direct result of deliberate decisions made daily. Every thought you entertain, every word you speak, and every action you take is shaping the person you are becoming. When you choose to live intentionally, you begin to see how small, consistent decisions compound over time and create massive shifts in your character, mindset, and results. Living intentionally requires you to become deeply aware of your values and priorities. Many people spend their lives chasing what the world says they should want without ever asking themselves what truly matters to them. This leads to exhaustion and emptiness because they are living out of alignment with their true purpose. Intentional living forces you to pause, reflect, and decide what kind of life you actually want to build. It invites you to ask difficult questions about your relationships, your career, your habits, and your beliefs so that you can identify whether they are leading you closer to your desired future or pulling you further away. This process of clarity is the foundation of transformation because you cannot change what you are not aware of. A major part of intentional living is setting clear boundaries. When you are intentional, you no longer say yes to everything or allow other people's demands to dictate your time and energy. You begin to guard your focus, your mental space, and your emotional well-being because you recognize that what you allow into your life shapes who you become. Boundaries are not about keeping people out, but about keeping your values and goals protected. Living with intention means you make choices that align with the future you want, even when they are difficult in the present. Over time, this kind of discipline transforms you into a person who is not easily swayed by distractions because your actions are rooted in purpose. Intentional living also demands self-awareness and accountability. You cannot live intentionally if you are not willing to examine your patterns and take responsibility for the results you are getting. Many people blame circumstances or other people for where they are in life. But true transformation begins when you own your choices. This kind of ownership is empowering because it shifts the power back into your hands. Once you accept that you are responsible for the life you create, you begin to make decisions with greater wisdom and clarity. Intentionality gives you the ability to break free from cycles that keep you stagnant because it forces you to confront the truth about your habits, mindset, and daily actions. When you choose intentional living, you start to approach your time differently. Time is one of the most valuable resources you have, and when you live with purpose, You no longer waste it on things that do not add value to your growth or future. Each moment becomes an opportunity to take deliberate action that moves you forward. Whether it is choosing to spend time learning, improving your health, building meaningful relationships, or pursuing your calling, intentionality ensures that your days are spent building a life of meaning instead of just existing. This shift in how you manage your time naturally creates transformation because the quality of your life is determined by how you invest your time each day. Another element of intentional living is aligning your actions with your beliefs. Many people say they want change, but continue living in a way that contradicts their desires. Transformation cannot happen without alignment between your vision and your daily behavior. When your actions match your values, you experience a sense of peace and fulfillment that no external achievement can provide. Leaving intentionally teaches you to stop living for appearances or validation and start living in alignment with your deepest convictions. This alignment produces growth and transformation because you are no longer divided between who you want to be and how you actually live. Intentional living also changes how you respond to challenges. When you are intentional, you see difficulties as opportunities to grow rather than obstacles to fear. Instead of reacting emotionally or impulsively, you approach challenges with clarity and purpose, seeking lessons and solutions. This mindset shift is transformative because it builds resilience. You stop viewing hard seasons as setbacks and begin to see them as part of the process of becoming stronger and wiser. Living intentionally equips you with a long-term vision, which allows you to endure temporary discomfort with grace and patience because you are focused on the greater outcome you are building toward. Another powerful aspect of intentional living is the ability to cultivate habits that reinforce your desired identity. Transformation does not come from occasional effort. It comes from consistent habits built over time. Living intentionally means designing your environment, your routines, and your daily practices to support the person you are becoming. It requires discipline to consistently choose actions that align with your vision, but every small choice builds momentum. These habits eventually shape your identity, and your identity drives your actions, creating a powerful cycle of transformation that allows you to step into your highest potential. Living intentionally also influences the relationships you build and the people you surround yourself with. When you live without intention, you may allow anyone to have access to your life. But when you live with purpose, you become selective about who you allow to influence your energy, thoughts, and decisions. You start to seek out people who align with your values, encourage your growth, and challenge you to become better. The people you surround yourself with have a profound impact on your transformation, and intentional living ensures that your relationships are sources of inspiration rather than distraction. This level of awareness elevates your standards and strengthens your ability to create a life that reflects your true calling. Ultimately, intentional living is a commitment to growth and authenticity. It is a daily decision to design your life with purpose, to live in alignment with your values, and to take responsibility for the person you are becoming. This level of intentionality transforms not only your external circumstances, but also your inner world because it gives you a sense of direction and control over your destiny. Living with intention is not about perfection, but about progress. And every day you choose to live deliberately is another step toward becoming the best version of yourself. You were created with a unique purpose, a divine design that was set in motion long before you were born, and that purpose cannot be measured or defined by other people's opinions. Too often, people live their entire lives seeking validation from those around them hoping that acceptance will bring them fulfillment. Yet the truth is that no amount of approval can replace the sense of meaning that comes from living out your true calling. When you understand that you were designed for purpose, you begin to shift your focus from pleasing others to fulfilling the assignment placed within you. You stop living for applause and start living for impact, because purpose is what sustains you long after the excitement of approval fades. Chasing approval keeps you trapped in a cycle of comparison, constantly measuring yourself against someone else's standards. But purpose sets you free. Approval is fleeting and conditional. It changes with trends, opinions, and circumstances, but purpose is steady and unchanging. When you live for approval, your sense of worth rises and falls depending on how others perceive you. But when you live for purpose, your identity is anchored in something far greater than public opinion. This is why so many people feel unfulfilled even after achieving outward success, because success without purpose feels empty, while a life lived in alignment with your calling is deeply satisfying even when no one else sees or applauds your efforts. Purpose is the reason you were created, and it is not something anyone else can give you or take away from you. It is woven into your design, your talents, your passions, and your life experiences. Every strength you possess and every challenge you have faced has been shaping you for the very thing you are called to do. When you start seeking purpose instead of approval, you begin to view your life differently. You start seeing your struggles as preparation, your gifts as tools, and your journey as intentional. Approval-driven living makes you question yourself, but purpose-driven living gives you clarity and confidence, because you know you were created with intention. Living for approval often leads to compromise, because when your main goal is to be liked, you may sacrifice your values, dreams, or integrity to fit in. This way of living drains your energy and robs you of authenticity, because you are constantly molding yourself into someone else's expectations. Purpose-driven living, on the other hand, gives you the courage to stand firm in who you are, even if it means standing alone. When you recognize that you are designed for something greater, you stop needing permission to pursue your calling. You realize that not everyone will understand or support your path. And that's okay, because your purpose was never meant for everyone to approve of. It was meant for you to fulfill. One of the most freeing truths about living in purpose is that it allows you to focus on contribution instead of validation. When you live for approval, your efforts are centered around what others think of you. But when you live for purpose, your energy is focused on serving, creating, building, and impacting lives. This shift in focus gives your life meaning and fulfillment, because it's no longer about being seen, but about making a difference. Purpose gives your work significance, even in seasons when recognition is absent, because you understand that your value is not tied to how visible you are, but to how faithfully you are living out what you were designed to do. Understanding that you were designed for purpose also helps you embrace your uniqueness. You no longer feel pressured to conform to someone else's path or pace, because you recognize that your journey is one of a kind. Approval seeking makes you want to blend in and be accepted, but purpose calls you to stand out and be different. There is a reason you think the way you do, create the way you do, and dream the way you do. Your gifts, ideas, and personality were not given to you by accident. They were intentionally crafted to fulfill a specific role in this world. When you embrace that uniqueness, you stop competing with others and start celebrating the distinctive way you were designed to contribute. Living for purpose over approval also teaches you resilience, because you stop being discouraged by rejection. Not everyone will understand or agree with the path you're walking, and that's a sign you're doing something significant. People's opinions can shift, but purpose gives you the strength to keep moving forward, even when you face criticism or misunderstanding. This kind of inner strength cannot be developed if you are constantly chasing approval, because the fear of disapproval will always keep you small.